Oh, the phone's going off, okay. The phone rang noisily downstairs. Generally there were no calls for me, so I never really answered the phone much. But since my parents weren't here, I had no choice. I squirmed off the bed and went downstairs. I wonder what he's been doing between recovering and now. Hello, this is the Maimara residence. Keiichi, this is Mom. I intuitively had a bad feeling about this. It was because I thought she was going to ask me to go out and buy some things. So I took the initiative. What? I don't mind having instant noodles for dinner. There's still a lot of them. The other day we went out as a family and bought a whole case of cup noodles. I wanted to get a bunch of different kinds actually, but they refused since the individual packs were expensive. So instead I got a whole case of mega sized pork bone and ginger flavoured ones I liked. Huzzah! But my parents don't like strong flavours and didn't touch any of them, so the cupboards were still full of them. Though you see, there really isn't a need to go shopping, right? Keiichi, I'm not asking you to go shopping. Both Mummy and Daddy have to go to Tokyo right now because of work. Huh? Right now? This was really abrupt. No, we're already there. We left this afternoon. This is quite a distance from Tokyo from Hinamizawa. Going it at full speed down the highway would still take about 6 hours. Dad has a license, but since he doesn't like to drive, he doesn't like the highway, they likely took the train. It would have taken longer. I'm thinking you might understand since you heard us speaking last night, but it has to do with Daddy's contract. Right now, things aren't going so smoothly. Now that she mentioned it, I did remember that they talked all that time about how his job prospects weren't looking so good. Daddy is really sensitive about things like this, so if we leave things as they are now, it will affect his work. Part of my father's particularly fragile artistic personalities, his emotions changed as easily as the fall sky. You could also say he couldn't take criticism. But something like that can't be done over the phone. Keiichi, this is your father's job, so can you support him a bit, please? Because something like that can be done over the phone. It's your father's job, support him. Anyway, it's just faster to talk about it in person. So there wouldn't be any misunderstandings. As their son, there was nothing more I could say once they started talking about work. Yeah, also talking over the phone is quite horrible. And it's just the call quality rather than all the bursts is just like, hello? Yep, okay, the speaker and the phone's not that great. Anyway, so we'll be back tomorrow night. Keiichi, will you be fine on your own? It's not like I'll die or anything. Not like someone's out to kill me. Keiichi, you shouldn't speak so lightly of dying. If there's something troubling you, just talk to us. I believe Mummy will be able to help you out. Yesterday, I did bring up if I died rather abruptly, so I suppose they were a bit worried. You know, just a tad. But really, I was more depressed by the fact that nothing would be solved by telling them. But I didn't plan on dying. At least, not while I still knew nothing. I would never allow it. I won't die. I won't. I'll survive even if I have to gnaw my own leg off. Yeah, see you then. Tomorrow morning, make sure you wake up and eat your breakfast. And don't forget to take a bath and brush your teeth. Yeah, see you. Call ended like that. Sometimes my parents went off to Tokyo for business meetings, but Tokyo was far, far away. They normally did things by phone. The times they did go were normally planned out in advance. It never happened this suddenly. My god, I wonder what kind of bad things happened with the contract they were having. I couldn't say that the circumstances didn't feel strange, or rather unnatural. Anyway, I only needed to recognise the reality of the situation. That tonight, I was the only one in the house. That when my parents came back from work, I'd be gone. Missing. Vanished. Looking back on the series of events of the previous 5 years involving Oyashiro-sama's curse, it wouldn't seem that strange at all. Come to think of it, it was getting pretty late. I didn't think it was good that the only light on in the whole house was my room on the 2nd floor. It was the same as broadcasting to the enemy that my parents were gone, and this was their chance. At first, I ran to the living room, flicking on the lights and turned the TV on to a reassuring volume. Next was the study. I simply turned on the lights and some music. With this, on the outside, it would look like my parents were here. Once again, I went through the house, checking to see if there was anything left unlocked. When I saw the veranda and the laundry still hanging there, I went pale. That would have made it too obvious. I needed to take it down. I snatched down the laundry haphazardly and erased all traces that my mother wasn't here. It should be fine now. The garage. They hadn't gone all the way to Tokyo by car, but they still gone up to Okinawa Station. The garage was empty, wide open, and in plain sight. This was not good. I panicked and rushed to the back to close the normally open garage door. It should be fine now. I need to get the paper. Mom always got the paper. Since they left in the afternoon, the evening paper was still out there. But he's going mad, isn't he? My premonition was correct. I pulled everything from the mailbox and dropped it in the entryway. With this, for sure this time, it should be fine. Come to think of it, leaving the cupboard busted like that from my little freak out was kind of bad. At least he's noticed. I'll say I tripped and fell and the bat I was holding smashed into it. In the top and in the actual... Okay, I don't think your parents are going to buy that. Even so, just leaving it in its current state wasn't good. I should clean up a little bit before Mum got back and scolded me. I remember that there was a broom and dustpan in the closet. As I was going to get them, the phone rang once again. Hello, this is the Maibara residence. Oh, is this Keiichi-kun? It's your mother around? She isn't here at the moment. You idiot Keiichi Maibara. Don't reveal that your parents are gone. You can follow up still, calm down and take care of it. I think she'll be back soon. That wasn't a good response either. Now they might say they call again or tell her to call them when she comes back. Then that's fine. It wasn't anything important. Well then, sorry for being a bother. The scenario I feared didn't play out, eliciting a sigh of relief. That call was fortune in more ways than one. I had to deal with more telephone calls coming in from my parents tonight. I was somehow able to deal with a phone call just now, but I couldn't continue to rely on such poor improvisation. I needed to make up a good story to explain that my parents were home but couldn't answer the phone at the moment. They were making tempura and couldn't step away right now. That wasn't good enough. They were sick and went to bed because they weren't feeling well. That was going to be safe enough? I was thinking about it on the way back to my room and the phone rang once again. It was like they were calling because they knew I was going to lie. I didn't want to pick up, but I knew I had to. They suspect my parents weren't here. I should have taken the phone off the hook under the pretense I didn't realise that it was. But since the phone rang, I had to pick it up. I prepared myself and lifted up the receiver. Hello? I started announcing this was the Maibara residence. I had no reason to be kind to someone I didn't know the identity of. But unlike my uncouth voice, the person on the other side sounded goofy and light-hearted. Hello, my apologies for calling so late. This is Oshi from the Okinawa bookstore. Oshi-san? Is that you, my Bara-san? Good evening. Good to hear that you are doing well. Wait a moment, please. I grabbed the portable handset and rushed up to my room with it. It was the same no matter where I was since there was no one else home, but I wanted to be in a spot that I felt a bit safer when speaking on the phone with Oshi-san. Sorry for the wait. How are things? Anything changed since then? Since then? When was exactly that? When was that exactly? There was something about the brazen way he talked that rubbed me the wrong way. The last time I spoke with Oshi-san was 2 days ago. The day I stayed home from school, I met Oshi-san on the way back from the hospital, and we headed to town for lunch and had a talk. And after that, Ren and Mion came to check up on me. Whenever I spoke with Oshi-san, they always knew about it. It was like that since the first time I met him. Today's phone call may well be found out by them as well. Hello? Can you hear me, my Bara-san? Huh? Ah, sorry. What did you say? I asked if there's anything's changed since last time. There wasn't an answer, so I got a bit worried. Not really. The words stopped in my throat. There was a ton of stuff that happened. All of it baffling. What should I talk about? I didn't understand any of it, but I should try asking. If I didn't ask now, I may never have another chance. This night, when my parents weren't home, I had no guarantees I would make it through the night safely after all. Well, Oshi-san, it seems that someone is after me. Really? It could all be a coincidence, but that day, I missed school when I was sick. The two of them came to check up on me. Which two? Rena and Mion. They started asking how I had lunch with you. What next? They left me some mochi when they came to visit, but there was a needle inside. Fortunately, I didn't swallow it. I wonder could that have been a threat? About the needle. It was just one of those common sewing needles you see all the time. There was a whole 2-thread string through. Not that, my Bara-san. The needle itself. That's evidence. It could be used as proof that they threatened you. Where is that needle? That's right. That's it. I dropped the receiver and rushed downstairs. When I tossed the mochi, I overlooked it out of terror, but that needle was a valuable piece of evidence. I had certainly thrown the mochi and the needle at the wall together. If it would. Yes, if it was still on the wall that your parents didn't clean. If it was there, then it would be on the living room wall. But my prudent mother had cleaned that living room wall, and there was not a trace of mochi left on it. Could it be that it dropped in the gap between the wall and the carpet? I frantically searched by running my palm along the carpet, but nothing turned up. I tried moving around the sofa and desk, pulling up the carpet and then flapping it around, but I couldn't find the needle. Boy, he's really tearing the room apart, isn't he? Did my mother clean up everything without noticing it? It was just 2 days ago. I don't know what day they collected the burnable trash, but it may still be in the trash bin in the kitchen. I rushed into the kitchen and opened the lid of the pail. Oh god, no. Oh, well, this is just making more mess now. And poured out the contents. But even at a glance, I could tell that it would be incredibly difficult to find the needle in this pile of trash. I was looking for a needle in a trash stack. Ha! Because it's usually a haystack. I know. I'll try running my hand through it. It was a bit gross, but I was looking for a needle. That's not safe in any way, shape or form. If I felt a small prick, I'd be able to find it. It was a pretty tactless method, but it was the quickest. Wouldn't be the quickest be finding the mochi, because it would be quite close to the mochi at the very least. I held my breath and started striking the pile of trash in my hand. Milk flew around. There was nothing more disgusting than this, but it was not the time to be concerned with such details. I continued on for a while, but nothing turned up. I wanted to search more thoroughly, but I was still on the phone. I shouldn't keep Oshi-san waiting for too long. Later, when my mum got back, I'd ask her if there was a needle. I hastily began scribbling on the notepad affixed to the refrigerator with a magnet. Was there a needle? I scrawled the words with a red pen. Why a red? Why is there the red pen never signifies anything good, does it? And then dashed back upstairs where I had been keeping Oshi-san waiting far too long. Hello? How did it go? I couldn't find it. I was really overwhelmed back then, and I see. It would be great if you could find it. Keep it safe. That's right, the needle wasn't the only incident. I had to tell about this morning with the hit and run. Also, Oshi-san, that isn't all. Actually, this morning, that van was definitely aiming for me. I could say that without question due to the circumstances at that time. Did you see the license plate? I could search for it from here. Damn. I just flipped out yelling back at him back then, but I didn't look at the plate. Got failures on my part with the needle and the number plate. I was so focused just protecting myself that I let some of the most important details slip out of my grasp. I put my pillow, annoyed at how worthless I was. I'm sorry, I don't know much more than it was a white van. Nothing to fret about, my Bara-san. Anyone would be shaken after being hit. I guess all this really isn't a coincidence, is it? Oji-san started to hem and haw on the other end. I could imagine him folding out his arms. Also, Renner is acting strange. How so? What Renner said on the way home today. Asking why I was so much like Satoshi-kun. Now I could say it with confidence that Renner knew what happened to Satoshi. She knew that there was more to it. There was more to it than him just simply disappearing. Renner knows. She knows something regarding what happened to Satoshi, the kid who was demoned away last year. What would that be exactly? Renner said, I was the same as Satoshi. She said, something to the effect that the way things are going, I'll end up with the same fate as Satoshi. Fate, you say? Exactly. What kind of fate did she say would befall you? Transferring out, she said. Transferring out? When it said Satoshi transferred out. So given how things are going with me, I'll transfer out too. Oshi-san let out a stern sigh and then grumbled loudly. My Bara-san, that was probably some sort of threat, or maybe some type of warning. I thought so too. At that point, I started to think. Only now did he start to think. Would it be prudent to sum up everything that had happened up until now as the machinations of some human perpetrator? Other than the theory of it being Renner and the others, I was left with Oyashiro-sama's curse actually existing as the only other method. Of course, I couldn't tell that to Oshi-san, except Renner's strange behaviour could be proof of either scenarios. Whether it was Oyashiro-sama's curse being real, or everything being part of a conspiracy committed by all the villagers. Renner was involved. Renner had to know something. Renner was suspicious. A lot of focus being driven towards Renner, isn't it? See, what exactly was Rena? I couldn't help but think she was somehow involved with the prior string of mysterious deaths. I seem to recall that Oshi-san had admitted that he had dug into Rena's past a little. He was probably just downplaying it when he said a little, meaning he had actually dug pretty deep most likely. I wanted to hear about Rena. I wanted to know what happened at the previous school, among other things that were still unknown to me. If Rena was somebody I should suspect. No, not that. I want to know the truth. Tonight, I was alone in this huge house. Even though I said I couldn't count on them, I had lost the security I felt I had just by my parents being around. It wasn't like this house was some sort of fortress or castle. If a malicious person decided to use brute force, they could easily gain entry. There's no other residences close to the Maibara residence. No one would be able to hear anything, no matter how loud it was. I never felt as much resentment towards my father's artistic temperament and the fact that he had this house built in such a remote location as I did right now. I wonder if I still be here by tomorrow morning. Though I had to ask, was that the actual doorbell in the game? Right now, because I had no idea when the next chance would come. Yes, definitely doorbell going off here. Oshi-san, I have to ask. I have something I wanted to ask about. Please don't keep anything from me. Sure, ask away. Even though he was so far away on the other end of the line, this was the most reliable he had ever felt. I wanted to ask about Rena, about what happened at her previous school. Actually, regarding Rena's... I noticed a sound that had been going on for a while now. Since I was so focused on the call, I hadn't paid any attention to it at first, when I finally realised it was the doorbell. The time was 7 o'clock. It was past the time the postman would be making a delivery and past any sensible time for a neighbour to be visiting. I considered just acting like nobody was home, but that wouldn't be good. That would ruin all the work I put in making it look like my parents were home. I needed to answer the door. Hello, Maibara-san? Sorry, someone seems to be at the door. I'm going to see who it is. A guest? I see. My apologies. Should we end this call right now? That would be a problem. No, I'll be back in a second. Do you mind if I just leave the phone on? It's fine. I don't mind. I dropped the handset on my bed and dashed down to the door. I needed to make up a good excuse to get them to leave. I had a hunch it was the lady who called right before Oshi-san did. In which case, it would be one of my neighbours who's friends with my mum. I'll just say Mum isn't feeling well and went to bed early. That would be the easiest option. As I thought, I'd say, she's not home, can you call back later? Okay, and then they end up coming to visit instead. It'd be hard for her to ask me to wake my mum up if she's not feeling well. The bell continued to ring at regular intervals. If someone didn't answer after you rang the bell so much, you'd normally give up and go home, wouldn't you? Without removing the chain, I opened the door slightly and peered out at the visitor. A chill ran down my spine. I knew it. Somewhere deep inside, I had prepared for this moment. I tried to escape by imagining it was the easiest person to deal with, one of my mum's friends.